time today. Okay, so this class today is called You Simply Can. And that's why, that's because we wanted you to feel empowered after this class. We are busting lots of myths today about custom quilting, and this class is really needed for anyone that do quilts, because every quilt needs a finish. So we love free motion custom quilting. We will never say a tied quilt's not beautiful. We will never say you cannot do other ways to finish your quilts, because quilts are just like that. They are beautiful whenever you finish it. But for us, custom quilting has a special place in our hearts, and being so, we know that lots of people can feel not so comfortable with custom quilting. So it's very common that people feel like quilting is a tsunami. Please, Natasha, put this light.
All right.
So this is very common. It's very common that people feel very overwhelmed with custom quilting. They feel like they have to know a lot of designs to do custom quilting. They have to be experienced to do custom quilting. They have to know lots of free motion and even custom before they try or start on custom quilting. And once they get over all those before trying fears, most quilters encounter these questions. Where do I start to quilt, to plan, to do something about custom quilting? How do I decide on designs for each shape or block? How to continue the areas to combine the designs for each area with bigger areas to create visual impact? How do I make all the different spaces cohesive? My space is too big. What do I do? My space is too small. How do I deal with that? So there's a lot of questions. So it's not your thought if you ever felt like custom quilting was too much, if it's overwhelming, if it's like something you cannot deal with. That actually is very common because there's a lot of things to consider. So today we are a safe life boil. I don't know how to pronounce that.
This thing on the screen. Let's go with that.
So this class today is a life boil. So we will prove to you that you simply can do custom quilting, and it's actually stunning. So, of course, the actual goal at custom quilting is to ride that big tsunami. Of course, we're not talking about like a real tsunami. But after you enter the method way into custom, you realize that that big wave that you thought it was a tsunami, it's just like a little kind of children wave, and you can actually surf it. So all the features and fears and quilt features and aspects that we were kind of overwhelming and were getting you confused are actually the key for you to surf on your custom quilting, because this is the goal, right? The goal is to be like this little fella here, having a good time, doing a lot of tricks. I don't know the name of that. I'm gonna say maneuvers, but just this poorly translation from Brazilian Portuguese. And even have the dolphin friend to hang out and talk. It's a sunny day. Yeah, so this is the goal with custom quilting, is like to continue the joy of making the quilt in the first place and connecting the joy of quilting it to finish it. So it has to be fun, it has to be enjoyable, it can feel like a good puzzle to solve, or a good detective like a detective game, but it has to feel like a game. it has to feel like something that you totally can do. It has to feel like something that you are happy to put on the time to do that, because you know that that time will be joyful and well spent. So this for me is the super goal of custom quilting, and for Natasha even more, because Natasha is the inventor of our method here. So for me it's just like, oh, it should be fun. For Natasha it's like, if it's no fun, what's the point?
And continuous, please.
So as I'm talking about me and Natasha, let me introduce ourselves. So I'm Aline.
I'm Natasha.
And we are the I'm Aline. Hi.
And I'm Natasha.
This is Natasha.
Again.
Okay. So we are the orbital teachers. We developed this way of thinking of quilting, which is the orbital way. And of course, we are the orbital teachers because our company is named Orbital Quilting, etc., etc. So you may know us from our awarded quilts. We have been awarded 18 times in the major international shows like Best in Paducah, Best in Houston, Best on Quilt Canada, and so on, with our show quilts, as you can see there. You may know us also from our big fancy story of entrepreneurship, where we started a company of quilting without knowing how to quilt, and we bought the long arm machine without ever have quilted. And after we did that, with depth and no knowledge at all, we thought that was a good mood to buy all the colorful threads and paint a mural. Because our business was serious, right? So we needed a KG.
Yeah. And let me just add that the machine didn't fit the room once it arrived.
I was going to get
we just painted the wall, and then the machine didn't fit that much. It is how we knew about quilting, just so you know.
Yes, like weeks renovating the room, and we ended up at the backyard room at the end of the house. So you may know us from that story, or maybe you know us from the very miraculous day that we did quilting for the first time, and Natasha just sat for the first time and quilted this amazing little Dagmar monster.
Yeah.
And I, for the first time in my life, had draw something, like something that reminded me of a draw, and it was this cute cupcake. And of course, this story is very fun. If you know us from this story, the story of the feather that we could not quilt for the life of us, even though after that miraculous day happened for us, when we got to feathers, we were completely stuck. So we have a lot of stories going on in the world, depending if you know us from a live presentation, a guild presentation, our YouTube not presentation, a class presentation. It really depends on how you get to know us. But today we have a really special story to share. And this is our first professional custom story. So it has this very dramatic beginning. Because it was very dramatic, as you can see by this picture, we were so good at quilting as we were good at taking pictures.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, we were very proud at this quilt. We were very proud of the quilting. Like, we took detailed photos of the border flowers and the motifs in the center, which is very useful because they prove that we did the wrong things.
Yeah.
So those pictures actually were very worthy. So this quilt is something like that. Because the pictures are not so good, we like to share this afterward diagram. And as you can see, we have this kind of wonky feathers at one border. Then we have meanders at the external border. We have those vines in the empty spaces. And we have isolated motifs inside each kaleidoscope blocks. And we also have lots of fillers of meander fillers. So again, I don't want to say that this quilt was ugly or not well thought, because we spent days thinking about this quilting. And this quilting, now that we know how easy custom quilting can be, that's why we get so frustrated with this particular quilt. Because before that professional quilting, let's all remember that this is our first professional custom quilting. So there was a paying customer that we would receive this quilt. Before that, we have quilted the placemat sets in the first day and a couple of table runners for Natasha's mom. So on the table runners, we got a little lessons. So we learned from the table runners that we didn't enjoy traveling by stitching in the ditch. So we didn't do that in this first customer quilt. We did all the inadequate scaling on Natasha's mom table runner, so we were free from that on our first customer quilting at most. We did not enjoy backtracking over designs to travel, which felt very common for us, like we didn't know any better. So when this quilt arrived, we were like very prepared, very experienced
Oh, yeah.
in our minds. So we did what every quilter do, right? So we stared at the quilt for days.
Waiting for inspiration.
Or some solution.
Yeah.
And then we trace every single motif, because we were not secure to see if they would fit, if they would be correctly scaled to the quilt. And we didn't know how to combine them with all the things around it. We break threads for each block, as I've mentioned, and we filled up everything with fillers because we didn't know how to deal with the space. And that's why this was so frustrating for us, because when we finished this quilt, we've learned the biggest lesson in our quilter careers, which is effort does not equals beauty. It doesn't matter how much effort you put on a quilt, on a quilting, that is not a guarantee of beauty. And most of us know that, and most of us gave up on quilting, and especially custom quilting, free motion quilting, exactly because of that, because they put a lot of effort and a lot of suffering sometimes, and the results are less than ideal. So after this quilt, we've learned that we wanted to land on another part of this diagram. We didn't want to put a lot of effort to have less than amazing, beautiful results. We've thought that it could be okay if we put low effort and has kind of something meh, and it was super effort, but we could guarantee lots of beauty. But the sweet spot for us was to have low effort and a lot of beauty, because we were a business, right? You saw the mural. You saw the mural. You saw the
days painting that.
Yeah. So we were businesswomen. So we had to deliver a lot of beauty, and we knew that the less effort we could put on a quilt, the less time we would spend with the quilt, the most profitable the quilting would be for us as business owner. And we didn't realize at that moment that what we were creating from that goal, less effort, more beauty, was revolutionizing everything on the quilting custom mindness. It's not mindness, it's like mind space. What is when you have uma mentalidade? Mindset, yeah, thank you. That goal would revolutionize every mindset in the world about custom quilting. And that's what we are about to share with you, sharing our last finishes, hot tips, and even a tutorial.
Yeah, I'd like just to add something, that you hear a story about how we were creating a business, and that's why we needed to low effort and low time and have a lot of beauty. And most times I always think that, oh, but people that do that, you know, that quilt for hobby, they think, well, I don't need that necessarily. But I always think that to myself, that it doesn't matter if you have paying customers or if you're doing that to yourself to spend your time and enjoy that activity. The last effort and time you put on that, the more time you have to enjoy other things. Maybe do another quilt, maybe I don't know, have a picnic with your quilt already finished, you know.
Yeah.
So time is something we cannot buy, we cannot, you know, we just spend time, so we have to think about it carefully. So this solution is simply amazing for everybody because of that. It doesn't matter the purpose of your quilting.
Yeah.
As long as you have that beauty, you are saving time, so it's a win-win.
Right? Yeah, and time well spent is just like money. When money is well spent, you said, wow, I would spend that money all over again on that thing. So time is spent on being an efficient, beautiful quilting that you know for sure that will look beautiful, amazing, and that you can manage all the other resources you have inside that. Will always be time well spent.
Yeah.
And this is very, very crucial for something that you want to enjoy. So if you want to enjoy the process, you have to have that sense that you can deal with that you can totally navigate, surf on that, all the aspects of it, time, effort, etc., etc. So remember, we have a gift for you at the end of this class, and let's have fun. Yay!
All right.
So as promised, we were showing, telling, and sharing tips about some of our quilts. And I just wanted to share this Christmas quilt because after we got this quilted, we never shared big pictures, etc. And that's just because it's so huge. This quilt's like bed size, that we could not photograph it in a way that we were happy with it. So we received some help from our elves and gnomes. As you can see here, we have 1 and 2, and casually they are kind of redhead and curly hair, dark hair. So this is just casual, okay? It's not that Natasha's mom was trying to make us in elf size. It was not. It's not that. So we asked our elves and gnomes to take pictures of this quilt, but we also have photos. So we were go through the pictures and then go through the video. Okay, so the first picture is this, and if you're seeing this class on your phone, you're probably not seeing nothing at all. But it's important for you to locate yourself. So you can see that on the top left corner, we have this beautiful green square. Natasha, please go back one slide. So you can see the size of the quilt and the proportions of the quilt, so you can locate from that, and the center star, because we just have one center star, which is great. So from this quilt, if you get a little bit closer, you can see that we have our first golden rule here. So inside our methods for custom quilting, we have golden rules that will help us to answer those questions from the tsunami, like where to put things, how to combine designs, where do I start, and things like that. So one golden rule that I want you to leave this class with today is opposites attract each other. So if you have, can you please go closer? If you have a design that is curvy and you put the design with some kind of straight feeling, that will be very enhancing for both of those designs. And that's why the duo framed of the block and feathers go so well, or feathers and patchwork traditional piecing, because we have this contrast between curvy and geometric. So this is the tip number 1 that we wanted to give you today. So the tip number 2 is the framing. So you can see here that we have this. Natasha, can you draw the framing? Is that possible? Awesome. So we have here a framing of an area, and that was just creating the illusion that we have these straight lines going all around. So to do a framing, you don't need to stitch in the ditch, you don't need to do any fancy technique. We did that with rulers because those lines were like very, very big to do with free motion quilting on the diagonal. Was just easier to do with a ruler, and we created those frames to kind of create secondary designs, secondary patterns inside the quilt. So instead, this is very important, instead of using the common formula framing, so lots of custom quilting that puts lots of effort and get really beautiful results, but just because of the high effort, they have this formula, which is feathers, fillers, and echoing or framing of the blocks. So right here we are using feathers because we are only humans, right? We love it. And we are using framing, but we are using feathers and framing to make our path continuous, even though it's not visible here, and not to just frame one area, so like those big triangles or anything like that. We are actually framing areas that doesn't exist. So we are creating other information with those frames, right? And this is something that I always like to point out. If there is something that is very expected, like frames inside the shape of a quilt, and you want your quilt to have that wow effect, you can just give it some sass, some surprise, like wow, and what if I create a frame of something that doesn't exist? So you have that surprise for the viewer, and the brain of everyone will like, what is this? This is frame, this is feather, but it's not the frame and feather that I'm used to. What is this? So people will be drawn to your quilt. They will be attracted to it.
So instead of framing these diamonds here, for example, you go and you frame this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you understood the message from the piecing.
Yeah. And you create this illusion, and you get this quilt so much cohesion because you did that. So this is another tip that we wanted to share with you guys for custom quilting. And this is kind of explains a little bit, those tips that we are sharing today, they explain why sometimes a custom quilting is so beautiful and we cannot look away, we cannot turn our heads away from that quilt. And sometimes we do put the feathers and the ditch and the etc., and it's at the end it's like, yeah, but
it feels like you have seen that a million times.
Yeah.
It's not
so,
like custom.
Yeah. So right now we have another picture of the same framing, but on kind of more on the side, so you can see the big one going around here. So we have one next to the center star,
this one,
that is giving a frame to the star in the center area, and we have another one going around, more around on the external areas of the quilt. So now you can see the center of the quilting. So the center has this star.
This is the middle.
Yeah, and we have the feathers going around. So the direction of the feathers, they are also something that creates movement and guides the eye of the quilting. So these squares are 4 inches. And as you know, our machine is 18 inches of throw, which gave us kind of, let's say, 13-ish inches of area to quilt. So you can see that central feather, it's 30 inches, no, for
Which feather?
that one that you draw.
This one?
Yeah. So this one, it fits.
3. It's 24 inches.
Yeah, so it's not 24.
Yeah.
It's 3 plus
No, the
3
entire
times 4. No, just half.
Oh, just half.
3 times 4 is 12. But so this one fits our machine, but on the external area, we have a longer feather.
Yeah.
Like we have this longer feather there that would not possibly fit our machine. So usually people have solutions that doesn't feel like solutions for us because they are not joyful to do.
Yeah.
Like rolling the quilt up and down, so you can do that feather, leaving that unquilted until the end and turn your quilt, which is another thing that I don't do. Or breaking threads to quilt this kind of a long motif which is bigger than your quilting. But here we did completely continuous within the path that we designed for this specific quilt, and we didn't have to break any thread, do any quilting in the ditch, backtrack over already quilted designs, nothing like that. So I really like to show off that feature of this project because it doesn't feel even possible for this project. So every time I shared a picture of this quilt on a group or a contest outside the orbital quilting world, and I would say, wow, this is just one, this is completely continuous, I would get responses like, it's not possible. It's like, it's not possible. I cannot see how you could do that. It's impossible. So it's very common that people automatically assume that because a design is continuous, it has to be quilted that way. So I have a feather on the bottom of the border and goes up, and we have to start here and go all the way up and break all the threads and quilt entirely completely like that. Yeah. So that's not how we deal with designs here in the orbital world. And this is something that I want you to pay attention to and to start to sparkle that curiosity to say, this looks like this, but is it? Is it this quilting like this? We don't know. We just know that this is absolutely beautiful.
For this one particularly, we do know. That's good because we know.
We know that it's continuous.
Yes. Yeah. We know that it's continuous. We know how it was done. One starting and then one stopping for the whole piece. And this is, a
detail. Of the center. So it's the center area, but at the border, the external border of the work.
Yeah.
And we can see the feather, we can see the very, very advanced loops.
Yes.
This quilt is very advanced.
Yeah.
The loops are like very skilled required. And we can see some of the details of the quilting as well. So this quilt was made continuously with the 4-step orbital quilting architecture, that was what make this quilting free from traveling by stitching in the ditch, backtracking designs for traveling, breaking threads in each motif or block, and made it 100% continuous as we determined inside our plan, our project. So when we started the quilting for this quilt, we knew exactly what designs we're going to use, where to place them. We had everything figured out, and we have a video for you to see.
Yes, so let's go there. So you can see some details.
We did our best to photograph it, but the thread was too light, and it was very, very difficult to show the beauty of this quilting. So the video really made it possible. So we have the center here, the details in the center. This was all free motion. Now we can see the frames working together. The central motif, which is actually quite simple. And we have even a free tutorial on YouTube for the central motif. So we have two types of feathers in this quilt. We have the Christmas feathers, and we have regular feathers, fluffy feathers, like formal feathers. And we just had the most fun quilting this quilt. It was absolutely, absolutely fun to work with. Lots of details. No stitching in the ditch, no backtracking. It's just a lot of fun to quilt something this amazing with such a freeway, continuous path to travel. And I hope you're paying attention to the golden rule, like mimic using those straight lines next to really curvy curves, so we can enhance both of them. And we have the loops that are very curvy too on top, in the middle of that frame, which looks very beautiful.
Yeah.
So of course, after you see a quilting like this, you say, wow, this is like for experienced quilters, and it is. And you say, wow, that is very advanced. And it is, I agree with you. The error is to for people to assume, yeah, that very advanced, very intricate designs and kind of densely quilted, for us is more dense than usual, is the only way to have a beautiful custom.
Yeah.
This is where people get misconceptions about custom quilting, because they see the type of the Christmas quilting that we've just showed you, and they say, well, this is custom quilting, so it's difficult, it has a lot of effort, it has a lot of intricate designs, it's just for experienced quilters, my machine cannot do that for the life of me, etc., etc. So that's why we are showing our last finish today. So this is amazing. This is truly amazing, truly amazing. So as you can see, this quilt is also really big. It's not as big as the Christmas quilt, but it's big.
Yeah, you can see there.
You can see here, yeah.
And so, here's the diagram, the pattern for this one.
Yeah, and this quilt is actually quite simple. If you have been to our Monster Mesh workshop, I bet you can recognize this block. Is the star block from the Monster Mesh with one more border, so we could give a little bit more space to it. And then we just tweaked the colors and made this beautiful quilt out of just one simple block, the star block. So it's just color placement, it's nothing fancy. And this is because we had a message when we started this quilt. We want to say, if you have simple things well thought out, if you use what you have in a clever way, you can create so much impact, you can create so so many beautiful effects that people will wowza. It doesn't matter if it's just one simple block that you can do with very basic piecing skills, for example. So we wanted that message to be from the root of the quilting, which is the block, the construction, the piecing. And then we went double that message with the quilting. So if you see the quilting here, you're gonna see that it's very simple. It's within the easy peasy aesthetic on orbital quilting, which means that it's just made with simple elements. So the 3 beginner orbital movements is straight movement, arc movement, and loop movement. And we just use those movements in the very basic skills. So there's nothing super advanced in the way we use those movements. It's just the golden rules of OQA taking place for us to enhance the piecing while we also enhance the skills you already have. Because it's not just because, oh, I can just quilt loop. I mean, what? Can you quilt loops? Excuse me. You can do lots of beautiful, beautiful quilting with just loops. So here we have some examples. So we even have like 3 different star quilts, 3 different designs of our custom quilting for the 3 colorways of the stars, as you can see here. And they feel very different, even though the elements are the same, and even the scale are kind of the same. So they look very, very, very different. And then we have, even because it's the monster mesh star in the monster mesh movement, we also put a little monster here. So if you know, you know. Now it's time to talk cutie with your quilt. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah. It's mom. Who's good boy? Who's a good boy? Oh, dear. Okay, so if you know, you know. But we also had lots of different types of borders in this quilt because of the colorways. We had this illusion of big borders, and we were able to create very different effects even with the same element. So you can see here the arc has this border design, which is very different than the yellow ones on the yellow border. Let's see if it's the next one. Yeah, so here we can see the yellow border. It's also created with arcs, but it's very different. So, of course, we are talking about designs here, but those designs were achieved not because of skill, because they are all basic skills needed, required to make them. What actually led to get designs like this were the architecture clever strategies to bring out the features of the piecing and translate them into quilting information. So we could enhance the piecing with the quilting and put lots of information in the quilting, and it would never overwhelm the piecing because that information came from the piecing in the first place. So we are never afraid of over quilting, over nothing in our quilting, because it's always so rooted on the piecing that gave us freedom to create. And it's so rooted on the quilting that most of the times, if we look at the flip side, and this is because we said most, because sometimes it's so printed that we cannot see anything. Yeah. But if you have a solid fabric, just like we had for this quilt, you can clearly see if you're on a big screen for this specific quilt. We can see the stars. Can we draw the stars so we can guide people's attention to the place where we can actually see them? So you can see we have 4 stars, just like that. You can just double that, yeah. So we have those 4 stars very visible at the flip side. It's just like a whole cloth effect. And even with the most simple quilting, we even have secondary patterns. So you can see where those stars come together. We have this beautiful flower in the center. No, the center of the 4 stars, yeah. And we have 4 diamonds. And this is just because we were using a strategy for this quilting that was so close to the piecing that when the piecing has something extra, the quilting brings that something extra, even if we don't think about it, and even if we don't put extra effort to think about that specifically. And I think this is very amazing. So even the stars, we can see the difference between them. We can see that we have different stars in this only stars blocks quilt, which for me is very amazing. So of course we have a video too, because we have gnomes and elves helping out. So as you can see, this feels, at least for me, as a very fancy custom. It's not dense because we didn't want lots of quilting. We are not, we like to balance the amount of quilting to have softness in the quilt, but it looks very fancy because it was well planned. And these also apply that golden rule of opposite attracts. So we have straight lines with curvy lines in a very different way, without any feather or any fancy design. We just have a fancy strategy. And the most amazing thing for me about this quilting is that it gives like the yellow border here. We can see the movement. We can see the border going around those blocks. We can see the corners when they go around two of those groups of blocks of the same color. And in the center we have the 4 diamonds and the flower and the 4 stars. For me, this quilt looks so fancy. And this is actually also carrying the same characteristics from the other quilt that we've showed you. So it's free from traveling by stitching in the ditch, backtracking, breaking threads, and it's 100% continuous, like we've planned from the start. And we knew exactly what designs to use, where to place them, and on top of that, the smart strategy that we used here allowed us to make an easy quilting using only 3 movements: straight movement, arc, and loop, basic introductory skills of quilting, of course, and we just, every single thing about this quilting, the motifs, the designs, etc., they were always in favor to make it less effort, to quilt it, and the less effort we put, the more beauty we would give to the quilt. And this feels very impossible, but I hope that by showing you those 2 contrasts, you could also feel like it's possible. Because this quilt, in the easy peasy aesthetic, is not even the simpler quilt that we can quilt. But I hope that by seeing this absolutely gorgeous quilting that is made with basic skills and simple movements, you can understand that you can absolutely do custom quilting. Any quilter in any point can do custom quilting, and doing custom quilting can even help you to finish your quilts with more ease, can help you to use the features of your machine, if it's too small, if it's a domestic, if it's too big, if you can do ruler work, if you cannot quilt anything yet, free motion for example. You can use those features to make your quilting easier if you're using the right custom strategy. And to prove that any quilter can quilt a custom quilting, we are showing you a tutorial today. So we are showing the skip the ditch tutorial, which is our easiest custom ever to get you stunning results, because this is the type of quilting that requires even less skills than the easy peasy. And as I am showing you the skip the ditch, I would like to open a vote so we can transform that skip the ditch in a theme. It can be Christmas, flowers, or any other theme you want, and we would pick on the comments. Yeah, we would pick one from the comments. So go ahead. I would suggest Christmas because we have the elves, and I love it. Any time of the year, any season, etc. But there's also flowers, Halloween, masculine, any type of theme that you seem to struggle or you feel inspired to do quilting. Okay, so let's get started in our skip the ditch. So I know that any quilter can do one simple arc, because an arc, it's a very simple quilting to do. And if you start one quilt doing arcs, even if your first one is like this, at the end you'll be so much better that you will feel very empowered to do your quilting with arcs. So if you know how to do one quilt, one arc, of course you can do another arc. And if you can do two arcs close to this star, you can absolutely do those two arcs coming back. And if you can do that, you absolutely can do this. And if we are doing this here, we can do it here, we can do it here, and we can do it here. So if you can do this one arc, you can do another arc here, right? These are the same. And if you can do this here, you can do one here. And then you can do one here. But let's say this is too big for you. This was like out of your comfort zone. Your machine cannot handle this big arc on the vertical here. That's okay, because you can simply break it and do this. So you can quilt absolutely this quilting until now. And then if you quilt this, you say, I can break it down, I can have fun. So maybe we want to try that big quilt, that big arc, right? Because now you have the confidence that you can deal with everything you need. So you can just double here too, so you don't have the big arc, or you can say, well, let's try that big arc. And if you can do one, you absolutely can do two. And then you have the banana design. This is the banana design. So if you can do the bananas, which are just arcs, like we said, and you can do those broken doubled arcs here. Oops, sorry. And I know that you can, because you can do one arc. You can absolutely quilt one arc. And if you can quilt one arc, one echo, break down those small arcs and do the big arcs. If you have just one point here, you absolutely can quilt one arc there and come down. And if you repeat that, you will have a flower. And if you quilt this and say, wow, I'm a really custom quilter now, like I can do whatever I want. So you can even go fancy and do those 2 arcs that we did before, inclined here, and then double that, and you can create a diamond. And you'll have a very fancy design. So now I want to give you a tip for creating beautiful designs. This is actually a tip that we are gonna do on our, we do like when we do how to create designs workshop. So please pay attention. If we have a simple design element, we have a simple feature, we have basic skills. How do we get those same skills that are basic? How do we get those same elements that are from beginners? And we create very intricate designs. So one thing we can do is just one resource. When we do this workshop, we give a lot, but we are giving you one today. One way is to cross the lines. So your brain will like, whoa, what is happening here? She's crossing the designs. Oh my God, how can we deal with that? Is that pretty? Oh my God, this is so pretty. So it's like mind-blowing. So remember that I said that if you can quilt one arc, you can quilt another. And if you could quilt this, you could echo that. Well, if you can echo that, and I know you can because this is just one arc, you absolutely can do one arc at the middle here. You already have done that, remember, from the star. And then you just go ahead and cross to the other side. And then if you repeat these right here, you get an absolutely amazing design that you made from scratch, like just arcs. It's like you're feeling like a goddess, right? And it looks absolutely beautiful. And when you look at it, you say, cleverness really beat effort. Really beats effort, because there's no more effort in this design than this. It was just a strategy to create interest in the design. So if you do the same thing on all of them, that's a choice. You will have a very good looking design and it will be super simple. So now we get to one very cool moment of design creation with simple elements that Skip the Ditch give us. So if you can quilt these skinny arcs here, and you've quilted lots of different shapes of arcs at this point that you did easily on your quilting, then if you quilted 2 here, you absolutely can quilt 2 here, right? And you've learned that if you cross designs, they just magically get super pretty. It's like, what is happening? So you're gonna repeat what we did inside the star, but you're gonna cross everything. And we are doing just one more here in order to our path to work. And then we have the uterus design. So the uterus design is a design that I am very happy to spread into the world because it feels so fancy, but it's just like 2 big arcs and 2 smaller arcs, so big that they cross. It's nothing difficult to do. So if you can quilt one simple arc, just like this, sometimes the video does not help me. So if you can quilt one simple arc with strategy, you absolutely can do a breathtaking quilting on any kind of quilt with any quilting. So I hope that the tips and tricks we've shared until now were enough for you to get that life boil and breathe out and say, maybe I can do this. Maybe it's easier than I thought. Maybe it's easier than you tried. And what I really love about Skip the Ditch is that everything starts with one simple arc. And if you don't know how to do one simple arc, that's not a problem, because you are quilting just the same arc movement throughout the quilt, table runner, pillow, etc. So at the end, you'll be so much better. Then you will be inspired to do another one and another one and another one. And then once you see it, all your quilts feel like very customized quilting, even though your quilting was just based with one arc, because of course you have the golden rules from the architecture strategy, and because the quilting, let me see if with some light we can see the quilting here. Is it better?
It's better, yeah.
Yeah. So because your quilting was thought from the piecing, you have that feeling that is very, very custom, even though it's essentially the same thing over and over. But it's not the exact same thing, because all the designs, let me show you here, they are adapted to the quilting. So right here, we have 2 stars. It's the same star, but I put the 3 musketeers here, and Natasha put the 3 musketeers here. And that simple change...
Grab the board.
Oh, Natasha, you're a genius. Yeah. So that simple change make the custom feels so different, even though it's the same sawtooth star. Just because we changed the way we are treating each star and each space, even if it's the same design, when it's a clever strategy, it's clever all the way. So let me just show you a little more inspiration of Skip the Ditch, because I really, this is easy peasy. I really think that when we see that someone did it, we feel like it's possible. So here we have a very simple one. It's 3 musketeers all over again, and here is just an echo, like a solid orange peel, but then a little bit of sass, a diamond, and a petal, all made with that same one arc you started. So while people start to, while people start to finish to give us the themes and etc., and I hope I did not influence you too much on the Christmas thing.
Really? I
hope I did not.
Did.
That was not my intention at all, I swear. So
kind of.
Yeah, so while we are waiting for your suggestions, etc., I wanted to share another things with you. So I want you to remember the goal, and I would love for you to say to us, what is the goal for you? What would be the goal of custom quilting for you? What do you think you should achieve with custom quilting? What do you think would feel to achieve custom quilting? Why are you interested in custom quilting? What is that magical goal? Because for us, it was very clear to make money. But for us, the money alone was not enough. So we had to look at a quilt and say, wow, this is beautiful. I could run away to Mexico, because this quilting is so beautiful that I don't want to return it to my client. Actually, this was our inside joke with our clients. We signed notes personalized to our clients saying this was a runner, because we have this saying like we are running to Mexico, so we don't have to return your quilt because it's so beautiful.
Like a Brazilian saying, you're going to run with that thing. We usually say to Mexico, but it could be any place.
It could be like Spain, even
Irish,
Canada, United States.
The thing is, it's so beautiful that I'm going to, rob that. And I need to run like, oh my God, because no one can catch that quilt from me. That's the thing.
So for us, the goal was very clear. To make money was not a goal of the quilting. Actually, when we think about it, we thought it was. But once we started to have a beautiful quilting, that after that first client quilt, we knew that we had to enjoy the process, because there was no way that we are having this business for our whole life, and we were serious about that. You saw the mural. So we were very serious, and there was no way we were starting a life based on that, and we were like spend the day cursing because the quilting was so difficult, and etc., etc. So for me, for Natasha, when we think about this, the goal that we have in common for custom quilting and the foundations we build on our method is to have custom flow. So from the very first thought of a custom quilting to the very last stitch, we have joy. Stitch it. We have joy in that process. And for us, that was only available through our methods. And that custom flow actually turned out to be very inspiring. So we are sharing with you. Remember, we have a gift and a tutorial to transform this on a Christmas quilt at the end.
Maybe you're still voting.
Oh, so sorry.
Go ahead and vote.
You have time to change the Christmas. Yeah.
You can.
So in the meantime, I wanted to show to you something that could inspire you to change your vision about custom quilting, and to look at custom quilting and ask to yourself, could this be easy? And I guarantee to you, this is easy. Could this be continual? And I guarantee to you, this is continual. Could that be done in a way that I have a similar effect, but inside the comfortable skills that I have right now? That's absolutely possible. If you can quilt this with one arc, there's no limit for your creation and your enjoyment with it. So let's roll this inspirations that we have today. So this is not a last finished, actually this has been a long time quilted, but I just love this picture so much because we have two different blocks that are different just because of the color, and we used different designs that enhance each design, each block, and the overall look of the block. Maybe someday I will share the whole, I would do another You Simply Can class, You Simply Can 2.0, and I will share the whole effect of this quilting. So this is more advanced. There is ruler work, there is reversing feathers, etc., etc. But you can have beautiful effects with simple quilting too. So we have this, it's not even easy peasy because we don't have straight lines here. We just have the
loops and arcs,
and that's it. We have some meanders because the clients loved it and they wanted to see it, so we would strategically use it, but the whole quilt is just arcs and simple loops. As you can see, it's nothing like the loops on the Christmas quilt that is kind of reversing, crossing, doing all this stuff, mirrored, small, big, and positioned in a very specific way. No, this is just flowing the loops through the triangle to make the star. And we have another example with loops and the Three Musketeers. So the loops are kind of more fancy. You know that the Three Musketeers are kind of our secret project. So they look very fancy, but they're super easy to quilt. And we have this high tension design with an orbital quilting architecture golden rule applied to them. So they are very densely quilted to create this contrast between the softness and the very dense design. And it's not a filler. Mm-hmm. It's not pebbles that we spend an eternity quilting. Mm-hmm. It's just the same old high tension design, mm-hmm. a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. And then of course we have some more standards of free motion quilting. So wishbones and high tension, which for us is a standard, is like standard classics. And we have swirls, and we have this busy quilt with tulip inks all over the place. But we gave the quilt some unit and some cohesion using a very specific diversity of design. It's not too much, and it's not missing. It's not a boring repetition of the same design. So this was quite the achievement for this quilt, and it's only because of the strategy we used. And then we have more simple quilting, just loops and arcs again, some meander just because the clients asked and they loved it, so we could use it. We were not obliged to, it was not mandatory, but we could. We had the freedom, we had the choice to use specific designs if we wanted. But of course, if I was not mentioning them, you would not probably see it, because all we can see is the beautiful arcs and the beautiful loops here. And of course, if you have all the skills of free motion quilting, if you have all the tools, if you can do ruler work, reversing, mirroring, advanced stuff, intricate shit, you can use all of that too to enhance the piecing, to show off your skills, to make beautiful designs that when you look, you have to look closer. That's absolutely possible as well. So there is no right or wrong. There is no custom quilting is just super intricate or is just super simple. Custom quilting is whatever you want if you have a strategy. Because if you have a strategy, you are the goddess in your quilting, just like we felt when we did it for the first time, our method. So here we have a sampler with lots of different blocks, lots of different spaces, big spaces, small spaces, etc., etc. And the blocks are very uniquely quilted inside those particular features of each block. But again, no backtracking, no traveling by designs. Every single thing about this quilt is continuous. So the flow for me on custom quilting is to give a design, to give a quilt the quilting that it's asking for. So this quilt is super cute. We quilted bows, flowers, hearts, loops, arabesque, you name it. There's a lot of things here. But it feels very cohesive and it feels very, very delicate, even if there's a lot of motifs going on. Because all those motifs were based on the patchwork, on the piecing, on the color blocks. So we were very relaxed to choose that amount of quilting. And for me, it's one of my favorites of all time. Because of the bows, because the ballerina fabric and the bows, it's too much for me. So with Skip the Ditch, you saw that you can do just one arc, and with a clever strategy, you can do custom quilting. And for me, the flow is when you get to a point that you can see this looks great and appears to be easily accomplished. So when I say to you, you simply can, and you see the skip the ditch, and you see one
Arc, design, block.
tutorial.
Okay.
And you see a tutorial, you are excited about it. So for me, this is the goal of custom quilting. It's not coming here showing off lots of designs that you look and say, I can never do that. It's the quite opposite. It's for you to say, thanks for the great class, very creative, and I can't wait to try your techniques on my own quilts. This is the goal for me as a teacher. So I just wanted to share this this testimonial, which for me is like the go. So Michelle said, after watching Skip the Ditch and Wow Effect videos, I decided to try the strategy on a quilt. I found I had a vintage apple core quilt top, had acquired somewhere, scrappy as can be. Normally, I would probably have done on an edge-to-edge design, and that would have been fine. Of course, I said in the beginning, we are not here to say custom quilting is better than anything else. We can say custom quilting is the most fun. So she continues. It had been fine, but I decided, planned a continuous design. So Michelle was on the orbital quilting architecture. Mostly arcs, and used a solid 10 fabric, actually a node sheet for the backing. I used a blue variegated thread, and wow, this is the reaction of people when they see the flip side, which is the backing of the quilt in orbital language. How can I share pictures with you? So for me, this is the ultimate goal, because having custom beyond custom is not having a difficult custom. Having custom beyond custom is grabbing every single thing you desire for a quilt and put that in a strategy that will enhance the patchwork, guaranteed from the beginning. So that's why we created orbital quilting architecture. Orbital quilting architecture is our method where we have the 4 steps to create any kind of custom quilting continuously for any machine and any quilt. Inside the orbital quilting architecture program main training, we have the orbital quilting architecture 4-step method. So you grab any quilt, you apply these 4 steps, and you will have always beautiful custom quilting for any quilts and all machines. And we also have the enhanced piecing aspect of the custom quilting, because we have the golden rules, and this is the whole point of orbital quilting architecture when it was created. We also have the current skills enhancer, super potential. So it's you know how to quilt one arc, that's okay. Let's do a freaking beautiful custom with that one arc you can quilt. That's why we have orbital aesthetics like Skip the Ditch and Easy Peasy and all the others that we've developed. So you can dial up and down to your skills, and you can see references of you can actually quilt and how beautiful the custom you can achieve. We also have a real continuous special techniques unfolding. So when you do orbital quilting architecture, it will always be continuous as you determined on your planned custom, and you will have even special techniques to help you make this continuous as you want. And we have the wow effect guaranteed from start, from scratch. So today, of course, we have a gift. We still have the tutorial, but I want to give you time to take your life-changing decision on your creative calling. So we have the main training 4-step method for you to learn how to do everything we are showing, which is the complete 4-step method, and bonuses, of course. We are those kind of people. So inside the Orbital Quilting Architecture main training offer, you have the complete 4-step method, you have OQA in action, applying those 4-step methods on a real sampler. Then you have the special techniques for each block, because that's why we made a sampler, so you can have variety and see those same 4 steps having different unfolding features because of how the patchwork is behaving. Then we have the actual quilting on a sit-down machine, and then we have the same sampler quilted on a movable machine. So you can see how we are managing the same strategy in different machines and also in different aesthetics. So you are super covered. We have a bonus PDF with 3 aesthetics. We have one-on-one support, feedback just for you, and of course the community, and you have 1-year access. So the real cost of everything that we offer on Orbital Quilting Architecture is a lot, and we are not even considering the breathtaking guarantee, where you get to use, see, watch every class, test, do everything, and if you don't like it, you get your money back. And we are not even considering the bonus like fact videos or the quilt pattern for the sampler and other things that we eventually put inside the program. So today, the cost, the actual value that you pay when you enter Orbital Quilting Architecture is $297. This is like a fraction of the real value, the real cost of everything that's inside. And don't even get me started on the value, because if you could easily, joyfully finish your quilts on your machine for forever, like for your whole time, for your whole life, and you could extract the joy of creating a custom quilting that is super beautiful for your quilt for the cost of having one quilt quilted on a long armor by a professional, perhaps, or for the cost of one in-person workshop, but you have 1 year to ask questions, see it again, repeat everything, stop, pause, etc. So this is just so amazing that I cannot even start. And we even have a special gift, but I'll save the special gift for after the tutorial. Okay. Because I'm just like that. I'm mysterious. I have the savoir-faire. I don't know. I don't even know what is that. Now let's see people's goals. Goals first. Yeah, goals first, of course. Oh no, let's do goals after. Yeah, let's do goals after. Okay. I'm kind of, I want to see the goals, but you Christmas, whatever you want. Christmas. You like holidays? Yeah, she does. I do. Jenny gets me. Baby quilts. I believe Christmas one. Christmas one. Christmas. Okay, yeah. So Christmas it is. Let's get Christmassy here. All right. So I want to show you how this design is continuous. I will not erase it right now. Do you want I just want another board. Yeah. Here it is. So I'm going to put this on the side. So then we can compare, and you can see that everything is continuous here. Ooh. Okay. And we can even see the star here. It's so cute, right? I love it. So if I start here, I can do this and start and go to the middle. I like to go to the middle. So I will start this, and I'll do the banana, and I'll do this, and I'll do the banana, and I'll do this, and I'll do the banana, and I'll do this. So before I went home, I would do the diamonds, just so I don't have to come back. If this was an actual quilt, I would leave this kind of wonky here because after it's finished, it will not draw so much attention. But because I'm on the board and this is black, I'm gonna raise it so we can have a better feeling about it. So I am here and then I just come back. So I'm gonna do the bananas and finish the bananas. And now I'm gonna do our star. I have to remember which one is the doubled one. So now that I am here, I'm gonna do our echoes that we started off. And now I can do my uterus design, which is one of my favorites. And now we can do the three musketeers that are just like those echoes, but arranged in a different way. And now if I repeat that, I would just have, because I placed my board
A little bit off.
a little bit off here, I would just do this like this. So we can see the magic happening. So I started right here and I ended this block right here. And of course, if your block doesn't fit the throat of your machine, there is always other strategies to make you fit any space. So on the Christmas quilt, for example, we've quilted 1 square per row.
4 inches.
4 inches. So we could quilt and go back and quilt and go back all continuously. So now that we have this design and we have the path, all we have to do to make this, I'm gonna do the other one because it's at the center of the board. Can you please? Thank you, thank you. So now that I have this one, we can simply start to think, every time I have a theme, I like to think about what makes that specifically a theme. So this is some of the exercises we go through orbital quilting architecture, so we can actually extract the information we want and we need and we can use on a quilt. So if I have red fabric, how do I know that that specific fabric is a Christmas fabric and not just some regular red fabric? So Christmas has symbols, has images that we associate with Christmas. So I'm talking about like commercial Christmas, kids Christmas, because this is like the party Christmas. And of course, it will be different for each person. But I think we can all agree that Christmas and ornaments are very close. Christmas and some types of candies like that candy bar, they are also very close, but something that is spot on is holy leaves. So it's nothing new. Christmas and holy leaves are kind of the equals in terms of visual reference. So once you have holy leaves in your design, it will be Christmassy. But what else can we remember that a theme brings in our mind? So for me, it will always be ornaments, because we use ornaments on our house when it's Christmas. So we put those kind of special quilts. We put holy leaves everywhere. We put gold and glittery things everywhere. And that's why I love Christmas. So we use, it's important that we take the time. Remember, time well spent is just money well spent. We would spend it twice because the result is amazing. So it's just it's just awesome to have that moment to reflect. What imagery comes to my mind once I think about Christmas? So for each person will be different, but for very common things, people will automatically say similar things. Holy leaves, a Christmas tree with ornaments all over the house, like glittery ornaments, golden. Sometimes the word golden comes up when we do this exercise, like in person. And all these types of little trinkets, like the nutcracker or the ballerina, because of the nutcracker and stuff like that. So once you have all this imagery, we come back. So we go further and then we come back. So wow, there's ballerinas, there's nutcrackers, there's bells, there's horse slides. I'm remembering all the songs of Christmas. Santa Claus, chimneys, lots of things. So what can I do that can give this quilting Christmas, but I don't have to quilt a horse? So because I don't have the skill, right? We are talking about having your skill and putting on a quilt. So one thing that we can do, and I really love to do that because it's quite simple, is to see what can I do with arcs, because arcs are very easy. So guess what? Holy leaves are just arcs. So if we start right here and we replace the diamonds, I'm not going to replace I'm replace everything here because we have more space here and I want it to be very visible. So if I grab this design right here, and remember we had a reference there. Instead of doing the petal, I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll have a holy leaf that we can start from here. Let me do with an arc. Or I can start from the center. So if I do it here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We have another one here. And if I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we have another one here. And of course, if I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we have another one here. So I'm just replacing what we had. We had petals here, remember? For holy leaves. And now, wow, we had diamonds here, but I happen to know how to quilt hooks, how to quilt ornaments. So what we can do is just quilt an ornament here and an ornament there, and then an ornament here and an ornament here. So we have this beautiful ornaments, and I want you to pay close attention that I have 2 points to the top and 2 points to the left, so there is no confusion about what this is. And from that exercise we can say, wow, Aline just gave me the most amazing golden rule from orbital quilting architecture. Which one's that? Natasha's. Is Natasha's creation, because we are on a tight schedule. Natasha's almost not talking. But that's just because so we can deliver the lots of content to you in the less time possible. So Natasha once said, we need to breathe, we need balance, we need this golden rule that we have space. And this is what I'm sharing with you today, is one golden rule of orbital quilting architecture. So if I have a Christmas thing here, I'm not going to put a Christmas thing right on top of it, right next to it, because then it would not be so visible, so awesome, because we don't have space to breathe. It's like me today, talk, just talking non-stop. So I will leave the bananas because it's a tropical Christmas. We live in Brazil. It's sun as hell. It's like our Christmas is nothing like snow. It's just like sun, beach, and things like that. We are leaving the bananas in an homage to Carmen Miranda's hat. And then we have the star. So the star, if you happen to know how to do one hook, and you could do one hook there, you can do one hook here. And you can simply do an echo to get to the same point. So we are doing the exact same path, just replacing the designs. I mean, look at this design. It's so beautiful. It's almost too beautiful, but it's not. It will never be something like too beautiful. So we are transforming one of my favorite aesthetics is keep the ditch into one of my favorite things, Christmas. Oh my God, I feel like it's Christmas already.
It's a good day for you.
Yeah. So I will just do it very quickly because you already saw that this path is continuous. So now, yeah, we have this thing starting to feel like something like Christmas, but it's not a lot of Christmassy at this moment. So it's not that is not Christmas, but it's not like Christmas. Oh my God, Christmas is here. This is so beautiful. So once you hit that point, you can look at what you already have and say, how can I repeat the Christmas? So I have cohesion. So I have a relationship between the parts of the block or the quilt or the area, and they think like something that I thought before I quilted. So one orbital architecture rule is to look at the colors of the block. So I have one color here that has holy leaves, and I can use some more holy leaves here, right? So one thing that we can do is just do holy leaves here. So I'll just give me a guide so I can do one holy leaf here and one holy leaf there, just like that. And if you want, you can squeeze in a ornament here, but I'm a big quilter. My quilting is naturally big. Like where I put one holy leaves, Natasha puts 3. So
yeah, I'm surprised that you made 2 there.
It's like it's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle.
Oh,
Yay!
yes, for sure.
Yeah. So I will not put the ornaments there. And that's just my personal choice because it doesn't fit my comfortable quilting. I could fit it if I make everything smaller, but it's my Christmas.
Yeah, it's like you have the skill to do it, but you also have the freedom to choose not to.
Yeah. It's my party and my Christmas if I want to. A Christmas if I want to.
One more.
Oh. We have lots of holy leaves here, and I simply look, I love holy leaves. And now we have more Christmas going on here, and now we can say, yeah, this is a Christmas quilt, but still it's not quite like ornamented or something like that. So one thing that we can do is to do ornaments. So I could not fit ornaments here. Let's fit them here. So one thing that I like to do here is to do one ornament to this point and one ornament to this point. And because I am quilting this as I want, we could absolutely do an echo here, a petal there, and an echo here. And we could also add an echo here, because there's a lot of space here and we will have even more interest in this design. So if I replace all of my designs, we are preserving all the features of this design, but now I'm starting here, so I have more. Yeah, this looks very ornamental. And I want you to see that we are just using hooks extra here because hooks are kind of ready for Christmas, so why not? So this is how I would turn this skip the ditch. Oh, we should have done, we should have, yeah, Natasha's too efficient. She already erased our.
We have the quilting.
Yeah, we have the quilted here. Let me find it. Is this one? No, okay, it's this one. So we can easily transform a strategy into another theme, because once we have a clever strategy that it's all continuous and things like that, it's really easy to make design changes that will not change our path and that will not change our continuous strategy. So this is amazing. I am so happy that we get to do this together live, because then we could show you the whole process of transforming this theme, and we can do that process again and again for any theme, any particular subject for a quilt, or a subject that you want to impress on a quilt. And now, after this absolutely amazing demo tutorial, it's time for our gift, of course, because we value your time so much. We value your talent, because for us, talent is not making things easier and having the better results of every time. For us, talent is the inclination, the curiosity that make an art feels magnetic to you. And if you decide to act on that feeling, that is talent. That is where talent is. Making things easier, guaranteed results, those are methods. Those are step-by-steps that you will follow. Those are techniques, procedures. Talent is that magnetic feeling that we feel when we see something that is so beautiful that we want to see closer, that we want to put our hands in, that we want to like, wow, how is this possible? This is talent. That question is what sparkles everything. That sparkles curiosity, growth, and that really state of flow, which of course is the goal of custom quilting, which is the goal of making an art and having a hobby that is based on an art, which is quilting. So because of all of that, we have a special gift for you. We have the hooky special. So if you enroll to Orbital Quilting Architecture within the next 72 hours, am I saying 72 hours, you will have a 98 gift for free. So it's $98 the cost, but you'll grab it for free. This is the skip the ditch method, where we go even further. We give more examples. We do all the strategy of skip the ditch together in detail, slowly, again, with lots of examples. And also the, what is the other bonus?
Is the club recorder.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I don't want to confuse anyone, so better check. The other gift that we put together for you is this amazing class. So this was a club class. The club membership is where we monthly get together on a retreat to practice OQA in a specific real life quilt, and this were one of them, and we were very happy with it because we went down into the easy peasy aesthetic, and we went with a lot of solutions for tricky parts of the quilt, like when borders are cropped in the middle, when the stars are not aligned, when the quilting cannot be done once in our past by role. So we went deep into that, and that is very, very helpful for beginners, because if you know how to deal with specific features of a quilt with simple elements, just like we did here today, you can change those simple designs into more intricate designs, and you will have the strategy ready for you already. So this is a gift from us to you. Let me see if you have any questions, and I want to end this class with the goals that people have for custom quilting, because I always think that is so inspiring. And if you have any questions, please let us know.
Yeah. So Christine said she wanted to do something other than meandering, and I want to do this as a profession.
Oh, Christine, that is, I love when people, I love your hair, and I love when people want to do professional quilting, because I have to comment this. I was not commenting on everyone, but I have to comment this. I feel that there is, when I am on discussion groups, on all kinds of groups, people always say, wow, this profession is very hard because edge to edge is, everyone do edge to edge, and in my area is so cheap, etc. And I'm like, you are losing money because you don't have arbitral quilting architecture. Because here in Brazil, quilting is not even a thing. So no one do that. Like, it's not snowing in Christmas. It's like hot as hell. So this quilt, the arcs and loops, was the most profitable quilt, quilting style we ever had. Sometimes we could quilt, I'm sharing with you like real insider information here. When we quilted, when we were very proficient at this strategy, this quilting would be faster to quilt than edge-to-edge quilting, because we had the flow so strategically placed, and the quilting was so fluffy that people would look at this, and because it was real custom, like every single part of the patchwork was quilted, people would be in awe. Like the price was higher than edge to edge, because edge to edge is not perceived as a valuable quilting. So because custom is perceived as valuable, we could place this simple custom, I'm gonna call it this today, with higher prices than edge to edge, but we would put less effort to quilt than edge to edge. And our edge to edge was big, was not like you guys in the US that do very tight edge to edge. We were like going crazy in our edge to edge. And even so, this quilt was the most profitable one. So even charging per hour, because it was so fast to quilt, it was amazing. And clients were happy to spend a little bit of more money for a lot of more beauty, because it was custom. So I am so happy that you shared that you are doing this as a profession, because I get so excited for people to be professional quilters, even though we are always comparing. I think that is, especially in United States and Canada, where people do quilts as a hobby continuously. So continuously you have potential clients, and continuously you have people wanting to finish their quilts. So a little bit of different, it's not a little bit of differentiation. X is a lot of differentiation, but it's just a little bit more effort.
I wouldn't call it a little bit more effort.
It's not more effort, it's less effort. Yeah, I don't know how to, it's just a tweak.
Yeah.
Let's go, it's just a simple tweak. Quilting can be so profitable, like I wish I could live there, where I wish I had the time to be a professional quilter again. So thank you so much for sharing your goal. This was amazing.
Terry said, less thread breaks and speed up the overall time it takes to quilt a quilt.
So Terry, I just laid out everything for you.
Well, this is you haven't talked about thread breaks, because when we did our first professional quilting,
the green one,
we have to bury so many threads that I look at Aline in the eye and I said, I'm never going to do that again. And I didn't, because right after that, I would say it would be traumatic if I hadn't said, this won't happen. You know, I just graduated from architecture and we plan things there. We just don't go and start to build a house and start to put bricks on top of each other and see what's going to happen. No, we plan things. So we're going to plan the quilting the same way, without a lot of, you know, math and everything that you have in architecture. But for quilting, you have to plan that before you go to the machine, because as Aline said, once you get proficient at planning, and it's so easy because 4 steps, it's like you can do it super quickly, you will never have to break threads again, just because, you know, you don't know where
it's
to go.
inside a block, or it's a feather, a motif or block reason for break a thread. I have to alert you, your bobbin will end. And then you have to bury that thread, and that will feel a lot different when it's the only time in the entire quilt that you bury a thread. It's like, really, oh my God, I get to bury a thread once in a while. It feels very different.
It starts to be like a good thing.
We have the reversing curse here. So because we have to bury threads like so rarely. Sometimes we were like, oh my God, my bobbin end. And then we were like, my bobbin ends. So we have the reverse curse. Every time a bobbin ends here, we get 7 years of luck. Every time. So imagine the amount of luck we have for lives ahead of us. So Terry, the solution is simple and it's not obvious. But it's simple. It's not obvious because sometimes we look at a design and we cannot see how it's possible, just like the Christmas quilt, how it's even possible to make that continuously. But in those 4 steps, you do everything continuously. And I have to say that it feels like you're winning at something. You're winning at quilting. It's just the most amazing feeling because it's just 4 steps for everything.
It's amazing. Barbara said, goal is to finish my quilts myself from start, piecing and end, quilting, binding, in a way that is beautiful, creative to the theme of the quilt, and that can be more continuous line.
Oh,
you said it all.
I could frame that goal. I could put it here. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
It's why we created orbital quilting architecture.
That was our goal. Absolutely.
Kay said freedom in quilting.
That's
freedom
the best.
is great because then there's something, sometimes when we say, oh, you won't have to stitch in the ditch and things like that, people are, sometimes they feel like, oh, but I like stitching the ditch.
One time one student said, I think it's meditative because I have to go so slow and I have to put so much attention that I think it's meditative. You know, every person is different.
But the thing about freedom is that if you have a method to do things, you can choose if you're going to stitch in the ditch or if you're not. And we don't like it, so we don't. But we do teach how you're going to stitch in the ditch in a way that's clever, that you don't have to break threads, that you do that continuously throughout the whole quilt.
And you don't have to use it to travel across your quilting, and then you stitch the ditch 1, 2, 3, 4 times because it was not planned, it was not well thought out, and it was not within a strategy. So the reason that you do the ditch is for traveling, and then you bulk up so many threads that it's visible, so it lost the meaning of the stitching in the ditch. But if you use a strategy and put inside your strategy stitching in the ditch, we have a retreat just for that. We had a retreat for that. Then you can quilt ditches if you want, and you are sure that you'll never have to quilt the ditches twice, and you can take your time to do it. So we did ditches professionally, I would say 3 times, and we charged separately, especially for ditches. That's the amount of we don't want to do ditches that was for us, because it was not our vibe, but it's about choice, it's about freedom. So 4 steps and you do whatever you want.
Fran said, as always, I love let's go again. As always, I love all your classes. You all will rock your quilting when you take OQA. Just do it. So good.
Oh, Fran, thank you so much. What I love about you being on OQA is that you were so excited about it that I feel that I get excited just when I see your name popping out, or Michelle or Jenny, like people that are on OQA. When I see they coming out, I'm like, yes, that people is very excited, that person is very excited, because it's really freeing to feel that you will have a beautiful result at the end anyway. And you can do lots of different things inside the quilt, but the result will be beautiful anyway. And it's very freeing, so people get very exciting. Thank you so much for being with us today, Fran.
Yeah. Alessandra said, I've never quilted. Will it work for beginners? So, and she said, I'm watching the Monster Mash workshop and loving it.
Oh, then you're not a beginner anymore.
Yeah.
I would say it is, but you should enter the Monster Mash. But
yeah.
I was going to say, it's better if you enter the Monster Mash, because then you get to deal with the free motion skills and the free motion features. Like orbital quilting architecture will not solve tension issues, but tension issues can prevent you from quilting. So if you have a good foundation like Monster Mash, which has the preparation class, and then you have the skills already built up, this quilt uses less skills than you developed on the Monster Mash. So you absolutely can enjoy everything inside orbital quilting architecture with Monster Mash. In fact, you will learn how to apply your Monster Mash skills in this club retreat recorded that we put on the special gift if you enroll in the next 72 hours. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, who else said it? Oh, what else? Christine said, I started with Monster Mash. It was so fun. Oh my God, I'm so happy, Christine. I also think it's a lot of fun. We quilted monsters all over Quilt Canada when we were there teaching in 2020. This year,
Yeah, 2025.
Is this year that we are? Yeah. Is this the yes. So this is the year that we are. And we quilted monsters in all machines that we put our hands on. It was a lot of fun. Then Jenny said, oh, I saw the monster. It was you. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. It's very freeing to get to quilt something that is not beautiful. And that's okay. Just like the monster. I don't want to spoil anything. I just may have spoiled a little bit of the workshop, but I'm glad you're there.
Okay, so I just put the link to enroll on the comment section.
Yes, so you can enjoy your 72-hour gift. It's important for us to remind you that it's only for the next 72 hours, and it will not be described in any place of orbital quilting architecture page, because we are having to add that specifically for you guys that were here. So outside this class today, that will not be mentioned anywhere in the page or your email, but don't worry, we know you were here. We know you're subscribed to this class, so we are getting you there. I am always sending this by email, and I hope that is not delayed or early. I'm sending the link to enroll by email. And I want to comment one last thing before we finish this amazing class. I want to ask you if this class changed at least a little bit of your perspective on doing custom quilting. If something that we said or showed today made you think, maybe this is possible for me. If that was your case, please leave a comment saying so, because this was the goal of this class, and I need to know if it was effective, if you felt inspired, and if changed something in you in order for you to feel a little bit closer to be able to do custom quilting. And with this last moment for questions, I want to thank every single person that subscribed to this class. It is an honor to us to be able to share with you some of the most inspiring things that keep our creative fire alive and that keep us doing quilting, that even after 10 years doing custom quilting, we finish a quilt and we say, wow, now I outdid myself, even if it's just with arcs, because it looks so beautiful. So we value your time so much. Thank you for spending a little bit of your life with us today. This is orbital quilting. Oh, people are saying absolutely, class absolutely effective and inspired. Oh, thank you so much, Shirley. Great class. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you. Very inspiring. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for answering. That is the golden key for us to close this class. I hope you have the most inspired quilting journey from now on, and that you become the goddess of your own quiltum. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Aline.
And I'm Natasha.
And this is Orbital Quilting. See you on the flip side.